What's good, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Pound for Piggity. You know what I mean? Pound for pound, whatever you want to call me. Anyways, just gonna go ahead and give my little personal views on Dana White. There's been a lot of news, man. A lot of people talking about this guy online, internet, whatever, Twitter sphere, whatever you want to call it. I'm just gonna tell you how I feel. Everybody's calling Dana White a douchebag, an asshole, this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? A dirty guy, the white version of Don King. What do y'all think? To be honest with you, I'm going to give you my personal opinion, and that's about it. I'm not here to really, get into arguments with anybody online, but if you want to, you can bring it. But anyways, as far as Dana White is concerned, I hear a lot about online about he treats his fighters certain ways. He treats them badly. He doesn't have people's backs. He's a shady dude. All I got to say is this. As far as a business perspective and a businessman, I got to give him respect. He runs a business. He runs a big lucrative business. He runs a UFC. He makes money. He knows how to do it. He knows that's a lot of things that most people don't know how to do. Shit, I don't know how to run UFC. But what I will say is, like I said, I'm not going to go too deep in it. I'm just going to give you my personal opinion of the guy. I don't like Dana White. Never have, really. In the earlier days of UFC, I thought he was cool. He came off as cool. But when I ask a lot of people on the street, like my friends and family, I talk to people, everybody really doesn't like Dana White. Now, to me, I don't like him, and it's not a reason for I'm hating because he has money or none of that. The reason I don't like Dana White is because he comes off as an asshole. He comes off as a douche and a dickhead to me. He talks all this shit 24/7, about how he's beat up Tito Ortiz and how he's, fought fighters and he cusses during interviews and cusses during every damn press conference. It's as if Dana White tries to give this persona as if he's a fighter, as if he's the main fighter over the UFC, and he's not. He's just a dude that wears a suit and pushes pencils and pays people and pays fighters. Does he underpay his fighters? That's another issue. I believe he does. You know what I'm saying? Because when I used to see the numbers of UFC, I used to see the money that these fighters got. It used to shock me. I used to be like, man, these guys aren't getting paid that much. You know what I'm saying? To fight. You'd go on Sherdog.com and MMA Weekly and you'd see the post-fight numbers of what he was paying these dudes. And I used to feel bad for some of these fighters, man, because there were some big name dudes only making $100K, $200K. You know what I'm saying? If you flip over to boxing, a sport that he always talks shit about, motherfucking boxers are making millions. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds of thousands to millions. You know what I mean? And so, to me, watching the UFC from an outside perspective, I do feel like he's kind of an asshole. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he underpays his fighters. I feel like he doesn't really treat a certain specific fighter. There's no real praise in the UFC to me. Every fighter in the UFC is kind of just the same. You know what I'm saying? As far as just personability and who they are. It's just oh yeah, I'm here and I'm a fighter and that's just what I do, and that's just it. There's no real special qualities about it's almost as if everyone's held under this umbrella. And it's weird, you know what I'm saying? Another thing I don't like about Dana White and his whole UFC thing is how he just kicks people out of the UFC after 3 to 4 losses. In boxing, that doesn't happen. You might not get a title shot, which is cool because you're not winning, but they don't kick you out of boxing, you know what I'm saying? And then tell you to go to some other division of boxing. Nah, boxing is a boxing, you know what I'm saying? It's a worldly entity, you know what I'm saying? You might not get a title shot, but you're not kicked out of, this organization. That's another thing I don't like about UFC, just how they just get rid of their fighters after they're done with them, you know what I'm saying? Czech Congo had wrote an article about that. There's an article online about Czech Congo saying stuff like that, how he felt like Dana White just kind of threw him to the curb. There's a lot of fighters that feel like they get treated like trash by Dana White, you know what I'm saying? But to me, the main thing that bugs me about Dana White is just how he comes off in the media. He comes off as if he's some badass, as if he is some, end-all be-all fighter, and he's not, you know what I'm saying? He cusses up a storm in press conferences, cusses up a storm in interviews, fuck this, fuck that, I don't give a fuck, I woo. And it's dude, if you didn't have the money to pay motherfuckers, you wouldn't even be in that position, really, to be talking like that. And really, he shouldn't. When do you ever hear Bob Arum talk like that? You know what I'm saying? When do you hear Oscar De La Hoya get on the mic and talk like that? Bernard Hopkins talk like that? You know what I'm saying? They keep it classy, man. Boxing, they keep it classy in boxing. Dana White, it seems like he's trying to just get the UFC publicity by trying to bring this badass persona to it by acting like the badass in the suit. And it's funny because it's like, dude, you're 24/7 on camera in a suit. You know what I'm saying? Let's see you spar. If you want to act so badass all the time in front of the camera, go spar. Put up weekly sparring footage. Show us that you are this Dana White badass dude, because he always gets on the microphone and gives off the persona and the appearance that he's just some fucking badass. And that's one thing I hate about Dana White. Another thing I don't like about Dana White, I feel like sometimes he gets too much shine. Like, I feel like he gets more shine than some of the fighters. Some of the times when I'm online trying to find things about fighters, I end up seeing video interviews of Dana White, blogs and shit of Dana White. I'm like, I don't want to see you, dude. You don't throw no punches. I don't want to see you. I want to see the fighters more than you. And it feels like you see Dana White a lot more than you do fighters. It's sickening to me sometimes. It pisses me off. I just had to get up on here and post that, you know what I'm saying, give you my little side of it, and that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, hey, if he turns around, I'd much prefer to see Dana White not cuss, not curse in interviews, not curse in press conferences. I'd much like to see Dana White act a gentleman when shit doesn't go his way. You know what I'm saying? When people talk bad about him, you know what I'm saying, he goes bad on these interviews, and it's just funny. Because like I said, if you flip it over to like De La Hoya, Bob Arum, these other promoters from other entities that he doesn't like, I mean, they're not as trashy as he is. He's kind of trash, you know what I'm saying, on the microphone. And that's just how I feel about it. Anyways, this is your boy, Mr. Pound for Pound. I'm out. Peace.